Arizona taking on Detroit. And man, this team took a few years off my life last night betting on them, Arizona. But nevertheless, they are finally in the win column. First win of the season for the Arizona Coyotes last night in overtime against the Philadelphia Flyers, 4-3 after one lead evaporate in the final minute. Two empty net or pull the goalie, extra attacker goals for the Philadelphia Flyers in the final minute to tie the game before Arizona somehow regroups enough to get the overtime winner and take down the Flyers 4-3 for their first win of the season. Now they travel to Detroit, second night of back-to-back games here off that first win. Now, Arizona, I said, when they got that first win, and thankfully I was on it. I wasn't initially sure I was going to be on Arizona last night against Philadelphia, but as soon as I saw that Louis Domingue was on waivers, and Louis Domingue was not even in the building to ruin another game for the Arizona Coyotes, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I'm pulling the trigger here on Arizona tonight. Scott Wedgwood can't be any worse than Louis Domingue, and I thought he played pretty good actually last night. I don't think he could have been faulted for many or if any of the goals that Philly scored, especially in that final minute. There were some poor breakdowns in front of him, but he was better than Domingue, and certainly I think Antti Raanta is. So it's like I said, Wedgwood or Raanta doesn't matter to me. They're going to get at least better goaltending than anything that the stiff known as Louis Domingue can give you. And sure enough, Arizona rides that. They had the right mindset. They came out firing. They dominated most of the first two periods of that game before Philly finally started to tilt the ice a little bit in the third period when they were trailing. But good win for Arizona. I'm still steadfast in saying that despite this team's terrible start, 1-11, they're a better team than that record. They certainly can score goals. Clayton Keller's been fantastic for this team, leading them in points at 13 points. A great young center for this Arizona team. It's gotten off to a great start. They got weapons up front with Domi, Duclair, with Dvorak. I mean, there are guys that can put a puck in the net. Stepan, of course, that can put a puck in the net for Arizona. It's all about, can they get good enough defense and goaltending, and specifically the latter. The goaltending has been lacking for Arizona. It's a big reason why they've also been a huge over team. I mean, you look at them last 10 games, they've gone 8-1-1 to the over, Arizona, in their last 10 games. They've just been an over machine, one over after another, because they've been giving up goals, but they've also been scoring them. Now they take on Detroit, and I said once Arizona got that first win, I would be looking to ride this team a little bit, bet on them, and I still might tonight. I lean Arizona here. Even on the second night of back-to-back. But again, the spot's not optimal. It is back-to-back on the road. But you're facing a beatable foe as far as I'm concerned. Detroit Red Wings here. You know, a team that I think if you bring your best effort, you can beat this hockey team here. They're only 1-3 in their brand new building, Little Caesars Arena. They're 5-7 on the season. This is not a team that should overwhelm Arizona, even on the second night of back-to-backs here. It's going to be one of those situations where I think Arizona, after a huge win, I know blowing the lead's not good. You don't like to see that, especially in the final minute, but they reeled it back in. They had a good overtime session. They drew a penalty, had a power play. They didn't score on it, but they didn't get down. You know, they didn't, pout after that. They thought, oh, geez, we blew the lead. We had a power play in overtime. We didn't score on it. Oh, boy, now what? We're never going to win a game. They didn't think that. They kept coming at Philly and finally got that overtime winner to win 4-3. Positive confidence and momentum finally in that Arizona dressing room. I think it carries over into tonight. I don't love the spot. Normally, I don't love backing teams playing the second night of back-to-backs on the road, but still catching a nice plus price with a team feeling good. And really, is Detroit at -180 the kind of package you feel comfortable laying a price with? Hell no, not in my mind. Andrew, what are you looking at in this game?
I fully agree with you, and I think it starts with goaltending once again. Obviously, not the same situation we're seeing in Vegas, but I think it's confusing for a team when you see, the same kind of different goalie every night and the same problems happening every night. They're able to put up 3, 4, 5 goals, but somehow their goals against is still always terrible. And I think that's where they're struggling the most is defensively. But looking at this Arizona team, like you said, Ian, a lot of the times you don't like to do this, especially with a team on the road. Don't get to sleep in their own beds. The routines are off a little bit and back-to-back games. But I think this is one of those instances where I do agree with you, Ian, psychologically, where you can just say, look, these guys have been playing a lot better than their record shows. And I think on this back-to-back right now, we're going to see the momentum carry over, and they're going to be fired up. They're going up against the Detroit Red Wings team that's, let's face it, nothing too exciting. This isn't any kind of game you get too excited about when you wake up in the morning. So I think this is going to be the kind of game that who wants it more, and I think this Arizona Coyotes team is going to be a lot more fired up. And if they can get some consistency going, and if they can find a way to get their defensemen to clear the puck out of the zone, not try and be so active like they have been trying to be. Let the forwards do their job. Let the defensemen do their job. I think that should be the rules for this Arizona team. But I agree with you, Ian. I think this is a momentum kind of thing. And I think that Arizona, not like I think they're going to get on a hot streak or anything, but I like the way that they'll probably come into tonight feeling good. Probably a lower scoring game for me, but I like Arizona as well.
All right, Dana's back with us. Dana, what do you think about Coyotes and Red Wings? Can the Coyotes make it 2 in a row?
See, I thought I was going to slip out really quick without anybody noticing, but apologize for that. You know, kids, they go crazy when they can't find their costumes, and of course you have to listen to it. Anyway, okay, so Arizona, Detroit. Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. It looks to me like a little bit of a lower scoring game, and not necessarily because of Arizona, more to do with what Detroit has done and continues to do all season. I mean, this is the first of or the second of 2 meetings this year, and the first meeting was 4-2. It was 4 goals going into the third period. So I tend to look at things in twos, where I don't really try to anticipate more than 2 goals a period. So they were right on that under until at the end pushed it over last time out. And I think that this game will be a little bit tighter. Detroit, I don't know where their focus is. After this game, they do head out to a Canadian road swing. So to me, whoever you are as a team, I think gets exploited, especially if you're the team that goes on the road. And we know that Detroit is not very good offensively. So I think before a road trip, I think that even gets exacerbated a little bit more, because their focus, if you're in the middle of a homestand, obviously your focus is on doing well, or playing well offensively or defensively, whatever your forte is. But when you're on the verge of going out onto the road, I don't always think a team has correct focus. So wherever your weakness is, I think it gets exploited right before a road trip, if any of that made sense. We definitely can't rely on either of these teams offensively. Detroit only has 5 first period goals in 12 games. They rank 25th in that area, 24th on the power play. They're also 25th in offense. So, I don't understand why I would anticipate a better effort from Detroit, because after we've played 12 games, we know exactly who you are and what we can expect. So you can't trust the top players from Detroit. Dylan Larkin has yet to score. Nielsen has 4 goals, but no assists. And Zetterberg and Tatar have gone 4 games without a point. So you can't really count on anything from those guys. And, Arizona is a mess, because they continuously try to run their organization on analytics. And these organizations that have a focus on analytics is usually a pass for me, because hockey, I think, is the one sport where analytics is a tool, and teams that think it's the tool, a la Arizona and Florida, usually struggle. So never a play on for me, and very, very few times does Arizona ever play. Very few times does Florida ever play for me. But I do like the under in this. You're getting plus money in some spots. So that's kind of where my lean would be on this tonight.
All right. Dana likes the under in Detroit. What's Alex like?
I'm looking at Arizona in this spot. I think the fact that they won last night and they don't have time to rest on the fact that they finally got off of, this losing slide. They're right back on the ice again. And you look at Detroit, they just coming off of a win after losing the previous 6 games. So both teams look fairly evenly matched in a bad way, and you're getting this high of a price with Arizona. So I think they're going to be able to at least ride the momentum out tonight to maybe squeak out another win. Now afterward, if they, and I would like to see them win. If they go 2 in a row, maybe we'll adjust the price a small value against them. I think at least momentum-wise, Arizona would be the way that I would look in this game.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.